Hello, everyone. Been quite a long time since I've made a just like a normal long form video like this. Um, this as the title would imply, um, be about like the NFL season, like single award, records of what I think every single team is going to be, and what I think the playoff bracket will look like. News about the rivalry jerseys and TV announcers. So I'll be starting first with the rivalry jersey things here. Those who don't know what this is, um so for those who don't know what this is, uh Nike and the NFL, another set of jerseys that they have to make and then debut. Last year was the NFC West and the AFC East. This year it is the NFC North and AFC South. Now, what we do have is some of the jersey dates, like when the teams are going to be wearing them, confirmed, but not every single team. Here's what we do know about that. We know the Texans are going to be wearing theirs in Week 11 against the Indianapolis Colts, which is a Thursday night game. The Minnesota Vikings will be wearing theirs on Sunday Night Football against the Lions in Week 15. And the Chicago Bears would be wearing theirs on Christmas against the Packers. There is also the Colts wearing theirs in Week 3 against the Texans, which is a 1 o'clock game. And the Jags wearing theirs in Week 8 against the Colts, also a 1 o'clock game. What we don't know is the Lions, Packers, or Titans. Here's my predictions for those. Lions, I feel like, are going to either debut theirs in Week 7 or 12. Week 7, I mean, it's a 425 game. They put it there for a reason. Why would they not debut the Nike Rivalry jerseys there? Week 12, I mean, get a large TV audience on Thanksgiving. Nike NFL want to debut the Lions rivalry jerseys. Thanksgiving would also be a decent time to debut those. Whereas for the Packers, my predictions here are either week 5 or 18. Week 5, again, one of the oldest rivalries in the game. Packers, Bears. That just makes the most sense. If they don't do them there, I feel like they will do it in week 18, end of the season against the Lions. Titans, my predictions here. My prediction here is week 10 against the Jags. Now, my reasoning for this one is a little bit more complicated here. That one, basically, it's because, like, 2 of the games are on CBS, one of which is on Fox. A little more convoluted reasoning. That's just what I'm tending to lean towards. Whether or not that's the actual case or not remains to be seen. moment. I'm editing this template out a little bit here. Basically, what this is going to be is my record predictions is going to be the next thing. In case you can't see what I'm in the middle of trying to do, we have the first, second, third, fourth, and not so subtly obvious. They're just moving where everybody is. I'll be starting first here with I think I will be starting with the AFC East first. Here's how I think that division will be lined up here. No, not everybody's going to be in fourth place. So, my predictions for that division, by the way, just in case you can't quite tell what it is that I have set up here. No, not everybody's going to be a fourth place team. I'm just moving everybody down into the... Here's to make this just a little easier. Not everybody's going to be a fourth place team. The way I have the AFC East shaking up, though, is the Bills reclaiming that division. Yes, I know Joe Brady is a first-year head coach. Sometimes first-year head coaches don't do well. Sometimes they do. But I think the Bills probably one of the most complete teams in that division. I think they have the firepower to retake that division. Probably for around
Shopping for your next car?
12, 13
What about third-row
wins
seats?
should be enough to take that division. And second, I have the New England Patriots. You'll see my playoff predictions for that when we get there. But I just don't think the Patriots will be as good as they were last year. I think I'll have a little bit of a hangover. You have a Super Bowl loser curse and a Super Bowl winner curse. Obviously, Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl hangover. Super Bowl losers have something similar. I just don't think the Patriots will do enough to be able to get into the playoffs this year. For them, if I'm being realistic, probably 9, 10 wins. Maybe 11 if possible. I just don't think they'll have room to be able to sneak into the postseason this year. So, sorry. Dolphins, I have in third. I still think the Jets are doo-doo. But actually, now that I think about it, probably swap the two teams here. I think the Jets could actually be better than the Dolphins this year. Geno, while he's not the greatest of quarterbacks, should be able to do just enough to at least secure third in that division. Dolphins, probably one of the worst wide receiver cores I've seen. Probably one of the worst. Malik Willis, I don't know if he's going to be able to do enough to keep them out of last place in that division. Jets, if I'm being realistic, probably 4 or 5 wins maybe. Dolphins probably 3, maybe 2, if we're being lucky. Next, I'll do the NFC version of the East. Where is, thank you. Yes, I do have Dallas winning the NFC East. Only because my reasoning for them. Because I gotta have new teams in the You gotta have new teams in the playoffs every year. Dallas, I feel like, should be able to do enough to be able to win that division. Probably for around 10, 11 wins. Should be just about enough to win that division. Eagles, wild card, probably like 10, 11 wins for them as well. Giants, I feel like could surprise a lot of teams this year. Or could surprise a lot of people this year. Could they make the playoffs? Maybe. But I don't think they'll have enough to be able to get into the playoffs this year. Maybe next year. Giants, if I'm predicting wins for them, probably like 6 wins, maybe? Giants, if I have to guess. And the Commanders, they're like going for a little bit of a retooling period. I just don't think they'll have enough to be able to win that there. Really do anything in that division. Probably like 5, 6 wins. Maybe 7 for them. What do I want to do next? How about the AFC West? Where's the last team? There. I'm just going to move them over. Thank you. The AFC West here is the next division. The Kansas City Chiefs here. I feel like, again, they'll be able to do enough to be able to win that division. Bieniemy coming back. It's the offensive coordinator. Probably like a 14, 12 around that point of wins. Denver, who won this division last year. I definitely feel like could compete for that division. Do enough to be able to take that division. Around 12, 11 wins, maybe. Chargers. Sorry, I just don't think you'll be able to win that division. Not that second division. Around 10, 11 wins for you. Raiders, well, they're in a rebuilding phase right now. Like 6, maybe 7 wins if they're lucky. And for the other West division, let's place teams right where they need to be. I just need to shift them. There we go. So, the NFC West. Rams, pretty self-explanatory, Super Bowl favorites. Acquiring Myles Garrett and whatnot. I have them around 13 to 14 wins this season. I actually have them as my 1 seed in the NFC. Seattle, I feel like will do just enough to be able to get a wild card. Around 12 wins, most. Let's go. I just don't think they'll be able to do enough to make the playoffs this year. I really don't. Cardinals, yeah. Me around 2-3 wins, competing for that number 1 overall pick. Niners, I could see around 10, 11 wins, give or take. Next up, I'll do, how about the South divisions? Do the AFC South. That's what I think the AFC South is going to look like. Texans with around that Super Bowl caliber defense. Stroud is back to rookie form. I can see the Texans winning that division easily. Jags are going to be competing with them for that division, but I think the Jags will get a wild card spot this year. Them somewhere around 11 to 12 wins. Texans around 13 wins, maybe, give or take. Colts, I just don't know, man. Like, I just do not know. I guess for them, probably around like 12. Right now, not that many wins. Probably around like 8 or 9 wins. Titans, I could see being sneaky this year. But honestly, them and the Colts could be interchangeable, but I do have the Titans finishing in last in that division. Probably around like 6 to 7 wins. I definitely see improvement from them this year. And going into next year, I feel like could maybe do some noise in that division. Whereas with the other South division, this one's a little tougher, honestly. This is the way I have that division staking out here. Saints, I feel like, can indeed take that division. Someone has to step up and take that division. That division is the weakest pile of shit, especially in the last couple years. The Saints are going to be taking that division. We're around 9, 10 wins. Should be enough to win that division. Maybe 8. Panthers, I have finishing second place. Just barely missing out on the postseason. Probably have around like 8, 9 wins. Tampa Bay, Mike Evans, that loss is going to hurt them more than people realize. Security blankets for Baker Mayfield, and now they don't have him anymore. Like, I just don't see that season going very well for them. At the moment, I have them around 6, 7 wins this season. Wins at the moment. We have some quarterback conundrums. Tua, obviously, presumably the starter, but well, they're dealing with some QB injuries. And at the moment, around that 6 to 7 win range. Now the final 2 divisions we have are the AFC North and NFC North. I feel like this one's going to be pretty self-explanatory. I do have the Ravens winning that division with around like 11, 12 wins. Mentor, national championship winning defensive coordinator, Michigan Wolverines. Talent of the Chargers, we had an elite defense there. Now the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Him paired up with Lamar, Declan Doyle, who they stole from the Bears. I feel like the Ravens are going to shock people and win the AFC North. Not really shock, but they will do enough to be able to win the AFC North. Bengals, this is the year they make it back to the playoffs. No excuses for you this year. I don't have them winning the AFC North, but I do have them clinching a wild card spot. This has to be year they make it back to the playoffs. They don't make it back to the playoffs, Zach Taylor is presumably gone. Even if they make it to the playoffs. I don't know if they have enough power to get very far. As long as they have a competitive wildcard game or divisional round game, if they can get there. I feel like Zach Taylor's job is not safe. Bengals have to make the playoffs this year. And I think they do. With we around 10, 11 wins, give or take. Steelers around 9, 8 wins. Mike McCarthy ain't really that much of an upgrade over Tomlin. Steelers are just going to be mid this year. Browns, yeah, I really shouldn't have to explain why they're in last right now. Their QB room sucks, and I don't see how Monken's going to lead you to the playoffs this year. Monken might not be around that long as your head coach. That's where we stand with them. And last but not least, the black and blue division, the NFC North. Yes, I do have the Lions finishing in first place in the North. Lions, easy schedule, proved offensive line. Yes, second year in a row, new offensive coordinator. I think the Lions are going to be able to do a lot this year and get back to the postseason. Lions, I have them at 12, 13 wins. You'll see the playoff picture in just a moment. See what I have for that. The Bears. I have them in second place. Bears I have in second place in the NFC North this coming year. They'll regress just a little bit. But I still have them around 10, 11 wins, fighting with the Lions for the NFC North. They won't be able to do enough to be able to take that division. Vikings, I have in third place. We're around 9, 10 wins at the most. Kyler is a huge upgrade over their quarterback room from last year. McCarthy, Wentz, Brosmer. I don't know if they had a fourth quarterback out there. I don't think they did. But Kyler's a huge upgrade over all those quarterback options. Vikings shoot up to second place. Most. But I don't feel like they'll be able to do enough to be able to take that spot from the Bears. But I can see the Vikings being very good this year. As for the last team, the Green Bay Packers. Yes, you can see I actually have them in last place. Presumably they'll have around 8, 9 wins. They'll have around a winning record. Let me explain why I have them in last. That injury to Parsons is going to affect them more than they think. Like, way, way more than they think. Parsons went down last year in Week 15. Their defense just self-destructed. They had the division lead going in Denver last year. And they just pissed it all away. And did the division on a silver platter of the Bears last year. that injury to Parsons affect them more than they think. The schedule for them is not exactly kind for them. I'll be getting to the TV announcers here shortly as well. But that will affect them more than they think. Now, getting into what I think the playoff picture is going to look like here. Let me set up like this. I'm sorry, I do have the Packers as the 7th seed. I should probably update that. That is not going to be happening this year. Just ignore that. That is not going to be happening this year. Eagles are just going to sneak in, I think. It's the 7th seed. So I'll fix that. Fix that right now. I just said the Packers were going to sneak in. But that being said, here's what I think the playoff picture is going to look like. Now, how would the actual playoffs actually go? On the other hand, you would have the Rams as your NFC number 1 seed simulation. For those who can't see that, I do have the Bills as the number 1 seed. They have to get that 1 seed at some point. They will be getting it this year. Actually, hang on. I need to update this even more because I didn't even realize this is what I had done here. I actually do have the Broncos winning that division and getting the 2 seed. But here we are. Now it should be fully up to date. I did not realize that. So it would be Broncos against Bengals. Broncos defense is going to kill Burrow. Broncos advance to the divisional round easily. So if I was to have this set up here, so I'd actually have the Broncos advancing fairly easily. 1-seeded Bills against whoever is the lowest remaining seed. So it would be 3-seed Ravens against the 6-seeded Chiefs in this simulation. I feel like and sorry Ravens here, but Ravens, you might have an impressive season, but you're not going to be able to do enough to stop the Chiefs from winning that game. And what it would come down to is the 4-seeded Texans against the 5-seeded Jags. Texans for sure. Take that. Their defense is just way too good for them not to advance to the divisional round. Whereas with the NFC, here's how I'd have that shaking out. So we'll just have it like this. So we'd have Lions against Eagles. If Eagles are the 7th seed, like, honestly, I don't see how they have a chance against the Lions in any sort of capacity. Upsets can happen, but I don't think so. And it would be the 3-seeded Cowboys against the 6-seeded Seattle. You know how the playoffs go for you, Dallas. I really don't need to say anything about that. And then we'd have Saints against the Bears. All right, Saints. You might make the playoffs, but you're not going to go very far, I'm afraid. You're not going to go very far. Next up, we'd have the divisional round. Once again, Sorry, Bills. You know how the playoff goes for you. Broncos against Texans. That would be a more interesting divisional round here. Who do I think would win that? Honestly, if I'm being realistic, I think the Texans' defense. Actually, no. I think the Broncos' defense might be able to overpower the Texans and will them to a win here. Rams against Seattle. Rams get their revenge from last year. I don't need to say anything about that. Lions-Bears tiebreaker match as well. That would not be particularly close. Rams against Lions. I hate to do this in the Lions. Rams defense is just going to be way too good this year. Point where I just don't see how the Lions win that game. Where's with this other one here? It goes against Chiefs. Tiebreaker match as well. Yeah. Sorry, Chiefs. You're not going to be winning that. That's a hypothetical Super Bowl matchup. I would have the Rams winning that. For sure. If that's how the picture would be set up, Rams would take that easily. Rams take that matchup, I feel like. That's the next thing I have on the... Oh, right, the award winners will be the next thing I do. Let's take care of that now. Next up, talking about the, whole award winners and whatnot here. Which I actually have in here. So, with this here. These are who I think are going to be winning every single award here. Could go any sort of direction here. But for my Offensive Player of the Year, I think Gibbs takes that. Favorite for that award. Feel like he will absolutely be taking that. My Defensive Player of the Year, I think, will be Myles Garrett. Broke the sack record last year. Insanely stacked Rams. Chris Shule is the defensive coordinator if Aaron Donald returns. Yeah, I think Garrett takes that award. Coach of the Year. People have Minter, think Minter and whatnot, going to be winning this award. I have a very, very interesting pick here. I have Kellen Moore winning that award. Kellen Moore, the New Orleans Saints, winning that award. Like I explained earlier, I think the Saints will be winning the South. Kellen Moore had a decent second half of the year last year. Proved upon that success. I could certainly see him winning that award. Comeback Player of the Year, Mahomes, really no explanation there. Defensive Player of the Year, Ruben Bain of the Buccaneers is my pick. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen because that could go to literally anyone. Probably 10, 11 sacks should be able to get him that award. Underrated of the Year, Jeremiah Love, something like around 1,200 yards, 9, 10 touchdowns. Should not Jeremiah Love that award? I'm taking unless somebody else takes that award. ACOY that I have as Assistant Coach of the Year. That could literally go to anyone, but my prediction right now is the Rams offensive coordinator. I don't even know who that is. I'm winning that. MVP. I think Stafford goes back-to-back with MVPs. Josh Allen is, I believe, the presumed favorite for that award right now. But I don't think he'll win that. I feel like that prediction's probably going to be wrong, but hey, these are why predictions are predictions. POY that I have is Protector of the Year, or Protector of Year. Joe Tooney won this award last year, and it pisses me off that he won that. I mean, he's on a division rival. I have to hate him legally. And he was on the Chiefs before, so I have to hate him even more. Patriots, I believe, before that, so I have to hate him even more. But I think Sewell will win that this year. And the Lions improve an offensive line. Renier. The way I can see it is this. Gibbs gets Offensive Player of the Year. I can certainly see Sewell winning that Protector of the Year trophy. For sure. That doesn't happen, then who knows? Moment of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year, and Fan of the Year. Just, that can literally be anything. I have no idea what those will be. But going into the last possible thing here, which is my, and I quote, announcer predictions here. The highlighted ones are the, like, we already know, / it's a late game, so we have to know who the announcers are. Red is prime time, which means, yeah, those announcers are confirmed as well. So just be reading the ones that have question marks here. Carolina, I think, will be a Kevin Cougar game. New Orleans, Detroit, Kenny Albert, I feel like we'll be doing that game. Green Bay at the Jets, Kevin Cougar. Minnesota, Chicago. Of all the games there, I feel like Joe Davis is probably going to do that game specifically. Just because that makes the most sense. And again, Fox has the doubleheader week. In that week, you got to pick like the most interesting game here, which would be Minnesota or Chicago in this case. So I feel like Joe Davis will be doing that game. Jets at Detroit, Kenny Albert, yet again. Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Adam Amin, I feel like is going to be doing that game. The Jets at Chicago. Kevin Kruger, I feel like he's going to be doing that game. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Chris Myers. Minnesota, Miami, Minnesota. Excuse me. Kenny Albert, I think, is going to be doing that game. Detroit, Arizona. They'll get probably one of the lowest of the low in terms of announcing crews there. And Benetti, I believe, did do a few NFL games last year, if I recall. I think he'll be doing that game, which would be fun, honestly. When we know he's the main play man of the Tigers. And, the Detroit Tigers, I'm sorry, let me correct that. With a whole lot of other jobs. A whole lot of other announcing things he does. Minnesota, New Orleans, I feel like it's going to be a Cougar game. Chicago, Atlanta. Once again, most interesting game here. Fox does not have a doubleheader week in week 6. They don't have the doubleheader week here. And you're going to go with whatever the most interesting game is. And Chicago, Atlanta intrigues me. Like, if there's any game where Burkhardt Brady would want to go to, it would be in Atlanta. And whether or not that happens remains to be seen. Indy, Minnesota. That just sounds like a Kevin Harlan type game there. Minnesota, Detroit, yeah, I'm going to be doing that game. Detroit, Miami. Once again, lowest of the low. Chris Myers, I feel like, will be doing that game. Here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. those who don't know, Lions International game this year is going to be on live TV this year. And I feel like New England, Detroit, with Joe Davis doing that game, means Minnesota, Green Bay, a little later in the day, with Adam Amin doing that game. In Chicago, and Amin. Tampa Bay, Detroit, I feel like Iron Eagle's going to do that game. Atlanta, Minnesota, week 12. It's not the most interesting game here, but I feel like Davis has a chance to do that game. Jacksonville, Chicago, Burkhardt, Brady definitely could do that game. I feel like, because that Fox does not have the doubleheader in that week. Two playoff teams going on. They definitely could be doing that game for sure. Teams from last year, that definitely could be a Burkhardt Brady game. Detroit, Atlanta just screams Kevin Harlan doing that game. Miami, Iron Eagle maybe doing that game. Tennessee, Detroit, Kevin Kugler. Miami, Green Bay, once again, most interesting game of that week. Which isn't necessarily that game, but they could certainly be doing that game. Chicago, Buffalo, that's a Saturday game. I think Iron Eagle will probably end up doing that one. Green Bay, Chicago. If we're following the pattern of the Christmas game of a few years past, Iron Eagle does the first game, Noah Eagle does the second game. I feel like that just makes the most sense. Rams at Seattle on Christmas is on Fox. Burkhardt Brady would make sense there. Minnesota at the Jets. Harlan, I feel like, makes sense doing that game. And that's pretty much it. Pretty much it for this video. Like, subscribe, do all that fun jazz, and see you in the next sports video. Peace out.